a 2/3 majority of states is necessary to call the convention. Each state sets its rule by its voting, the internal voting requirements by legislative rule. And in almost all cases, that's a simple majority. And if the practice is simple majority, there's no rule. So it's 2/3 to call, 3/4 of the states to ratify, and those are both constitutional text requirements.
But within the state, in order to issue the call,
Right.
it's a simple majority.
Yes, that's in your Senate rules, and that's the correct place for it, is in the rules of the legislature.
And isn't the term application, which we don't hear that much, I was told that the term we use today is more like a resolution.
Right.
And so that a resolution requires the two houses to pass it. It does not require governor signature.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Alexander. Representative Ballinger.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple of questions, kind of follow up and see clarity. One thing that I've noticed is we're dealing a whole lot with the subject matter and the specifics of what we may propose and whoever the delegates are and maybe vote on. And I think that could be helpful because it helps us realize the need for calling it a convention. But the reality is a lot of the concerns that Representative Nichols had or that a lot of the other people had about specifics of what you like or what you would want, you probably are probably not going to be a delegate. I would assume that's correct. And two, it's going to be a matter of whoever it is that are the delegates within the power that's granted to them will be the ones who will propose whatever constitutional changes that will be there. Is that correct?
That's all correct, except for I hope I'm a delegate from Virginia, but there's no guarantee of that. And so you are correct in saying my personal opinion can only illustrate the possibilities of what can be done. And so the application itself, the formal resolution, sets the parameters for the convention. And so that creates a little germaneness. And so the amendments that can be proposed have to be germane to the topic. And so I have my opinion on all that, and I will certainly, I might get hired as counsel to some delegation or so on, but it's no individual gets to dictate this. It is a majority of the delegates within a state cast that state's votes, and then it's a majority of the states make the decisions for the convention. So it's a collaborative process, and no one person can guarantee anything other than here's what we're going to try.
Right.
And that's it.
And just one follow-up question, I'll be done. The issue of the authority of the concern of a road convention, it kind of real basic, the way I kind of see this, is just a question of common law agency. If somebody is vested with the authority, if a client comes to me and says, Bob, I want you to negotiate this contract, then I can go and I can negotiate this contract, but I don't necessarily have the power at that point to go out and sell their house. They have came to me and have delegated a certain authority to me. I mean, wouldn't you say that that's essentially what we're talking about is whatever the parameters that we set in sending out and selecting our delegate, investing with the authority, they are representing the state of Arkansas. So however we decide to do that, they would have no authority above what we give them to go represent us at the convention.
I fully agree with you, and Madison fully agrees with you, and he explores this in detail in Federalist 40, where he explored the powers of the delegates. He said, the power came from the state applications, from the state credentials that they gave to the delegates. They gave them their instructions, they gave them their authority. And just as any sovereign in negotiating a treaty, for example, can withdraw that delegate's authority if they abuse it. First, they invest them with certain subject matter authority, and then secondly, they can withdraw that authority at any time. And that's true in the state of Arkansas, and people you would send to any such Article 5 convention.
Just one quick follow-up, I'm sorry. There are actually states who propose recall that if they exceed their authority, then you could actually have part of the resolution or part of the call where they'd be recalled, they lose their authority altogether. Is that correct?
Several states have done that. It's inherent, even if you don't specify it, you would have that power. The only question would be, how do you quickly exercise that power? And so creating rules that give you a quick method of exercising that power is helpful. But you could, as long as you can get the legislature in session, you can withdraw the authority at any time. So I would suggest that you do include withdrawal procedures in the actual appointment of the delegates.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, we appreciate you being here today. Would y'all like to say anything at the end, either one of you?
Pardon?
Would either one of you like to say something to the end, or whatever?
Oh, thank you.
We appreciate you being here today, thank you.
I believe there was one more speaker on the agenda that.
Well, we got him, I talked about.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'm talking about you two, I didn't say three, I said two, so.
I did want to say just a couple of administrative comments. We provided each of you with a package of material, and included in there is a CD, and on that CD is the legislative compendium that we talked about, which is over 300 pages, and my personal description is I think it's got everything on there that anyone would ever want to know about, from a legislative viewpoint, about what it takes to implement a convention of states, the whole deal here.
Okay, thank you very much.